So then, let's talk about Nicholas Latifi, the latest in a long line of Canadians to buy their way into the sport, following the steps of Walter Wolf, Lance Stroll and Lawrence Stroll. Now, coming into the season, I personally didn't have much in the way of many expectations for Nicholas. I thought he'd come in, be a very mediocre driver, wouldn't do much, wouldn't impress, wouldn't do too badly. I had him not coming last in my predictions. In fact, I had him coming penultimate, so 19th, ahead of Romain Grosjean. But I like to think that Nicholas has actually shown he's semi-decent this year. He's not as terrible as everyone probably thought he would be. He's a bit better. So, obviously, we need to start with the obvious. He's not out-qualified George at all this season. We know George is a bit of a qualifying specialist. We'll give that, especially as you're paying 50 million quid for your seat. Like, the deficit as well, not too good. 3/4 of a second behind George. Not really what we want. And on average, Nicholas qualifies 19th, while George qualifies 16th. However, then when we look at the race, Nicholas on average finishes 16th, while George finishes 15th. So George only makes up one place, while Nicholas makes up three. Nicholas competed in the Formula 2/GP2 season for 6 years. He started in 2014, finished in 2019. In 2014 he only did 2 races, 7 races in 2015. And in 2016 he moved to Dams, competing in his first full season, placed 19th. However, he would then stick with Dams for the next 3 years of his Formula 2 career. And this is where it was instrumental in Nicholas growing and developing as a driver on the F2 grid. In his second year with Dams, GP2 became Formula 2, and this is the year where Charles Leclerc came in and dominated the season. Nicholas claimed 1 win and 5 podiums. The win was a sprint race win. Not too bad. He finished 5th in the championship that year. Next year wouldn't go so well. He had 1 win the next year, which was also a sprint race win, 2 podiums. So a bit of a decline in form. Went from 5th down to 9th, and then 2019 was Nicholas's best year so far in single-seaters, where he placed 2nd behind Nick de Vries, winning 4 races and claiming another 4 podiums. I don't think Nicholas is a terrible driver. Obviously, you need to have some skill to win a F2. Winning F2 is probably one of the closest series on the planet, because obviously spec cars. So everyone has the same car, where the team really makes the difference. So we can see that him staying with Dams really allowed him to do this, and that's possibly what helped him get to the 2nd place championship finish that he did. By no means do I think Latifi is an amazing driver, but he capitalises on the opportunities. Okay, first race of the year he finished 11th. Yes, there were only 11 cars that finished, but he still had to keep his nose clean on the restarts. He had to just control the strategy, and really for his first outing he did fine. First time driving an F1 car in anger, that's his first time doing that, that's fine, that's alright, finish 11th. Then I think the race that really showed he has something about him for me was Monza, where we saw he was a bit off George in qualifying. We had the red flag period, and that's what makes the drivers reset. Then he has to manage another start, and on a weekend where George finished 14th, people hold George to a very high claim. Then Nicholas finishes 11th, nearly claiming points for Williams. That would have been an amazing story, and I don't think people are really giving Nick credit. Okay, yes, he has bought his way in. So did Lance Stroll. Now look what Lance is doing. He's in the top 10 drivers on the grid. There's no saying that Nicholas is ever going to be an amazing driver. I don't think he's ever going to win a race. I don't think he'll ever be a world champion. No, but could he possibly develop into a competent midfield driver? Yes, there's possibility. This is like every driver on the grid. There's potential there. I mean, Romain Grosjean, we saw him. He used to be an amazing driver. I think he is now arguably the worst driver on the grid. I think Giovinazzi is also worse than Nicholas. I think people often bash on drivers too quickly when they come in just because they have money. He's not the first paid driver. He definitely won't be the last we ever see. So he's not had the most exciting junior career. He's not won everything he's been in. Yes, he's got the opportunities due to the money. But then when he got the opportunity to go for a title fight in 2019 in F2, he was there. He was there or thereabouts with Nick de Vries, who is now in Formula E doing his thing. Well, yes, arguably Nick de Vries deserves a Formula 1 seat over Nicholas. That's not happened. And this is like I think with the qualifying situation. You don't get points for Saturday, you only get points for Sunday, and if Nicholas can show that he is more than capable of pushing that car close to the edge, coming through, then, and he has the racecraft to make up these positions in the race, it doesn't really matter if he qualifies 20th and he can finish 15th, 16th. If George qualifies 16th and he finishes 15th, they're both not getting points. But the fact I just think Nicholas has been able to capitalise on opportunities, and the only truly terrible race he had was in Hungary, which wasn't even his fault really. Got let out of the pits into the path of science, got a puncture, had to then do a whole new lap, pit again, and then the team went into data harvesting mode because they knew that there was no point, he wouldn't be able to make up the ground. These are just my thoughts on him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tweet me at Instagram. Bye guys.